You're tuned in to episode 84 of I Know What You Watched Last week. Gone back to more modern movies. And for you, the land of confusion.
I'm confused.
Yeah, I always feel it's best to keep Fair Lady in a state of confusion.
Well, only one of them was confusing.
Just like I did when we first started dating.
There was just the one. But the other two... So there was one that was confusing. And the other two were pretty dumb to varying degrees. One was just mind-bogglingly stupid.
We're not going to have the same order, by the way, just so you know.
Okay.
So you forgot what we watched, didn't you?
I forgot the third
name.
film, yeah.
Okay,
well,
well,
just the title, not the actual film.
Started off with what I'm going to assume is a well-known movie, Together, with Dave Franco and Alison Brie Cheese.
That's her full title.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, followed by...
Traumnovelle.
Traumnovelle, yeah, a.k.a. Dream Story.
What a crap translation.
Dream Story, yeah, Traumnovelle sounds much more, sinister. And we finished it off with The Jester from Transylvania.
That was it. God, no wonder I forgot that title.
Magic stuff. So what's your order?
Well, absolute bottom place is the dumbest movie we've seen in a while, which is The Jester from Transylvania.
Huh.
So stupid.
I thought you were going to say something different, but...
Really? Then second place is Together. And first place is the so confusing Traumnovelle.
Ah, so lady enjoys being confused.
Well, it was just the best film of the three.
I knew it. In my order, at number 3, Together.
I knew it.
And number 2, Jester from Transylvania. And number 1, Traumnovelle. So you can pick what order do you want to go in?
Let's go in my order for once.
Your order, okay. So we're going to
Jester.
start with the Jester from Transylvania. Everybody knows what Transylvania's famous for, right? 4-foot Englishmen who are actually Canadian.
Wait, was he doing an English accent? I didn't even... Was he?
Well, if we go to the the tagline, they've written tagline, but it's quite a long tagline, and it is thus. Are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm prepared.
What happens when you pick up a hitchhiker? Michael, an American scriptwriter, so that's the first thing. So Michael's American in this. Soon finds out when he picks up an Englishman in the middle of the Transylvanian forest, Touchstone. In fact, the ghost of a former court jester places him in some unimaginable situations of life and death, despite being a firm believer in non-violence. Did you get that from the movie?
No.
Michael's a firm believer in non-violence. Michael is forced to become a cold-blooded serial killer. So when you can't even get the synopsis of your movie correct, you're obviously not going to get the actual filming of the product correct.
God, this riled me so much, this stupid film.
Stupid?
I would say... So
This is the Jester from Transylvania.
without being an official sort of synopsis, because this gives away the actual story, but a guy, scriptwriter Michael...
Mm-hmm. The American, who talks like this...
dies on his way to a job, I guess, and then a
Well, don't guess.
little person gets picked up by
No,
him.
not a little person, an Englishman.
An Englishman gets picked up by him,
Yeah.
who then forces him to off a bunch of people.
And he's Tyrion, essentially, isn't he? Even though they make reference to Game of Thrones
Yeah.
and Tyrion, just because,
So funny.
the Englishman in this movie is a little person who's actually Canadian in real life. He played Howard the Duck. People know the movie Howard the Duck. And he's in quite a lot of stuff. I've actually found it quite baffling. I'm surprised that anyone managed to work again who was involved with this. Michael Ironside is in this. He played Pennington, the older gentleman. He's in Scanners, he's in Total Recall, Starship Troopers, the whole bunch of stuff. I don't know how it's got to this point. But anyway, just when Transylvania, like I said, the guy called Michael, the American scriptwriter, it opens with him kind of like being chased in the woods, and he shoots his would-be assailant. And then we begin the real story. And Michael's driving through the lush mountains of Transylvania. At the moment, I'm thinking, oh, this is lovely. Drive through the lush mountains of Transylvania. Until he then comes across Englishman, Touchstone. The character's called Touchstone.
What a stupid name is
in the
that?
woods. And he walks up to Touchstone and is like, essentially, hello, I'm an American scriptwriter. What are you doing in the woods? And then Touchstone quotes Shakespeare.
Yeah, there was a lot of Shakespeare reference in this.
Yes, because this movie is deep.
Whoever wrote this was like, I know Shakespeare.
It was written by Romanians. We've been around the world on the show. This is our first, I believe possibly first Romanian production.
Well, they were clearly very eager to show off their Shakespearean knowledge.
I've always thought, Romania has some great places to shoot, but after seeing this, I'm not sure that I'll give Romanians a chance to get hold of anything to do with Heathen. This was abysmal, laughable.
Also,
in a good way.
Apparently, Touchstone is the name of the character again in a Shakespeare thing. But I'm like, it's a really daft name, and every time Michael was like Touchstone, I was like.
Then when he quotes Shakespeare,
Yeah.
Michael then accuses him. And I use the word accuses because it's the right word. Accuses him of being Peter Dinklage. No one wants to be that twat. The guy, only he can decide what roles little people can take. And he's taken them all, is what he says. Have you seen lately as Benvolio? Embarrassing stuff.
Yeah,
absolutely
my God, I saw
horrendous.
the commercial for that.
Yeah.
I wanted a little bit to curl up
So
and
then
die.
Michael asks Touchstone, aren't you from Game of Thrones? I'm an American scriptwriter. Can't you tell by my voice? And Touchstone is like, Game of Thrones? Never heard of it. I'm already like rolling my eyes.
Yeah.
At
this is within the first
the
10
ineptness
minutes.
of this script. No, this is like the first 3 minutes, 2 minutes maximum. So he decides, Touchstone, to tell him, look, I've been stuck here. People have left me here. So Michael says, well, I'm going to drive up the mountain. If you want to come with me, come with. So Touchstone gets in the car with him. And as they drive off, Touchstone is in the car and also outside of the car, looking at them driving off. Like,
and for some reason, he's got a fresh noose that he doesn't want to let go of.
Yeah, he's got a noose. Yeah, he has. Get to the house. Michael's introduced to Mr. Pennington, played by Michael Ironside. He's also introduced to a character called Jimmy. Mm-hmm. Jimmy's the other one. We'll find out what their relationship is later. Mm-hmm. And there's also a lady called Sarah. And he walks into the house because he's there for his said job interview, like you said, because he's a script writer. So he's there to sell his script or finalise his script. And he says, oh, hang on a minute. Before I get started, I've just got to find this little person that I've brought with me, Touchstone.
Yeah, I hope you don't mind.
And they're all looking at him like, what are you talking about? There's no little person around. So then they all just sit around like drinking and stuff. And Michael walks in with the noose. And he starts saying, look, this is Touchstone's. I told you that little fella's Touchstone. This is his noose. So they all like, oh, let's all go looking then. Let's all have a search for Touchstone. And I felt it's a bad idea to go wandering around the Transylvanian woods at night with nothing but a lamp.
I mean, they're literally just walking around the perimeter of the house. I think it's all right.
Meanwhile, Touchstone is having his first conversation with a Cyclops guy, played by Franco Nero, of all people, from Django fame.
He's not a Cyclops.
He's
I would say he's a pirate.
No, he's got an eye patch, yeah. I've called him Cyclops. That would indicate he has one eye in the middle of his face.
Exactly, which is totally
but still,
false.
He's called One Eye in the movie. One Eye's name is...
That's kind of fitting with the tone of this whole shitbag of a movie.
When they decide that they can't find little Touchstone, because he's talking to Cyclops, Mr. Pennington is like, oh, this is Transylvania. It's full of ghosts and nocturnal apparitions, which are actually just your fear and feelings of remorse. Because once again, this film has depth. It has depth.
Yeah, and as you said, they're sitting around drinking, having food.
A good scriptwriter appreciates good food.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Even if you are a vegetarian.
Yeah.
And who should appear behind his shoulder? Touchstone. But no one else seems to notice that he's there.
Well, the thing is, first, when Michael is sitting around these people around this table, and they're all just having dinner, there's a door in the background. We just see Touchstone like half go through the door. Michael's somewhat seen him in his peripheral vision, and then he just decides to get right behind him. And obviously it's supposed to show that Michael can see that Touchstone is there, but the rest of the characters can't see him.
And Michael starts, like, talking to Touchstone. Touchstone, oh, well, you should be careful. You're looking a bit insane, aren't you? Just talking to me.
You would be wise not to give yourself and me away.
God, it's so stupid.
So after he comes out and we've been made aware, if it wasn't obvious already, that no one can see Touchstone except for Michael, every time Touchstone appears behind Michael in this film, the editing and everything that shows him is... I don't want to insult schoolboys by saying schoolboy level, but it's almost like it's almost like a parody of itself. Right from the start, it's a parody of itself. So because he's already said, don't give me away, Touchstone decides to take Michael to the pool room, like a billiards room, and he introduced himself properly, and he's like, I'm the Jester, because he's 500 years old. He's 500 years old, isn't he?
Oh, God, and, that was it. When he introduced his name to Michael right at the beginning, and he's like, oh, right, Touchstone, like from Shakespeare. And then Touchstone goes, well, I came first. I think that character was based on me. Ugh.
He tells of his death, or would be, and then Michael's like, no, ghosts aren't dead. And he's like, whack, whack, whack. He starts whacking Touchstone in the chest. I mean, this is a little person. He's just whacking him about. Touchstone says, please don't do that again. And... then there's this very weird thing. I thought it's supposed to be like chilling, possibly. Where Michael's like, "I saw you with that noose. I saved you from impending doom. If it wasn't for me, wild crows would be pecking at your eyeballs." The delivery was fierce, absolutely fierce.
What was the point of that noose?
I don't know, because I know he didn't mention that he's
doesn't
hung
go to anywhere,
or anything.
does it?
What was the point in?
Oh, he's hung, isn't he?
Anyway, well, according to Hollywood movies, all little people are.
Are they?
Yeah, that's one of the problems that Peter Dinklage has with Hollywood's.
That's a problem, is it?
Hollywood's
Tripod.
description of little people. Yeah, is that they're all sex crazed little freaks.
Oh right, well. So he plays Benvolio to try and dissuade that.
Yeah, in the most pervy manner possible. So yeah, Touchstone then tells Michael that these people are here to kill him, and he, in turn, must kill them first.
Yeah.
That's what this whole thing is about. And now we are back in the dining room. Pennington invites Michael over and says, 13 years old, from 2003. You must try it. And this is the first we get of the whole 2003 thing. I mean,
oh my God,
what?
This is so
what?
stupid. Yeah, and then we've got Touchstone, the wine. It's from 2003.
Yeah, he does say that much later on.
Fascinating.
Yeah. But while he's drinking his first glass from 2003, Michael, he sees Touchstone again, and he realises that he starts talking to him in front of all these people again. He shouldn't be doing that. So he's like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm an American scriptwriter, and if my wife was here, she would tell me I shouldn't be drinking this much. He's had like 3 sips. He's had 3 sips. Already, like, his hair's in disarray. His hair was annoying, by the way. His facial hair. This guy was one... Out of all the bad lead performances we've seen on I Know What We watched last week, this could arguably be the worst. And it might not even be the worst performance in this film. He's got a lot of credits, this guy. I'm like, how is this man working? How does this man have any work as an actor?
His performance reminded me a little bit of Open Mouth Guy in Dead Silence.
He did open his mouth a lot.
Yeah, he was like... Bleh.
Yeah, open mouth twat. So he has more praise of his script. Like I say, he's had 1 glass of wine. Touchstone is milling about next to him, which is written stupid, right? Michael's drunk on 1 glass of wine. He's an absolute wet wipe, this character. Like, you don't root for him, do you? I want him to die. I want him to die first. Even over Touchstone.
Yeah, well, I didn't understand again when Touchstone's like, oh, they're trying to kill you, so you need to kill them. Why can't he just leave? He's like, no, you can't just escape.
Well, I read you the synopsis. He's against violence of all kinds, but now he's forced to be violent. Yeah. So, of course, if for some reason that he gets a second glass of wine poured, has 2 sips of it, and now he is like 3 sheets to the wind. He's like, he insults, did I say the guy's name was Jimmy, the other one? And then he goes up to the balcony to get some fresh air, Michael. All of a sudden, Jimmy comes out, it's like, wah, 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 wah. Starts like beating the crap out of him, out of nowhere.
So I guess Michael now believes Touchstone that they are trying to kill him because this guy's actually been doing it. But then as they're scuffling and rolling about and Jimmy's about to, like, off him, Jimmy gets a scythe.
Invisible
From
assailant.
we don't know who. We never find out who, by the way.
And then Michael starts going, disgusting!
Disgusting.
Oh, disgusting!
And yet, for some reason, he decides to pull the scythe out of him.
Yeah. And this is at this point, right? So he's had these 2 glasses of wine, maximum. He hasn't even finished his second glass of wine. He then drags the body away, and the next we see of him is he wakes up in a chair, which I've got to imagine is either the middle of the night or the next morning. And when he wakes up, who is standing by his chair, of course? Little Touchstone. And the first thing he says is, interesting vintage, wouldn't you say? I told you that wine was from 2003. And again, what does this mean?
It's so stupid. Apparently, I'll tell you what this apparently means.
Well, I think I know, but still...
It means...
What does it mean? Why have you put this in there?
That now that Michael has woken up, he's been transported by the wine to 2003. Although it looked more like they were trying to say it was like 1803, because the people he comes across in this scenario are dressed in, like, old-timey clothes.
Yeah, Touchstone is now also talking to Eye Patch Man again, and we get dialogue like, everything must go according to plan. And he's also said something to Michael earlier on. He's like, you think things are at an end, when in fact, they are just beginning. You know, super script this. At this point, I should tell you, this cost €2 million. This is a €2 million movie.
And they shot in Romania.
Shot in Romania. Romanian crew, Romanian director, Romanian writer, everything. Yeah, lots of Romanian actors. Touchstone talking to Eye Patch Man again. Everyone's going to plan. So Michael wakes up dishevelled after his 1 glass of vino.
Well, he's also been time transported.
And for some reason now, Touchstone is now dressed as Tyrion from Game of Thrones. He's got that leather strapped get-up on.
He's a 500-year-old jester.
Yeah.
He used to jest in the court. Is
he supposed to be Tyrion? Because we already had the Game of Thrones joke at the beginning. Now he's in Tyrion's clothes and drinking wine, and he knows stuff. He drinks wine and he knows stuff. Who's that? It's Tyrion. This guy loves Game of Thrones. Then he drinks wine and he knows things. Where are the people from last night? Asked Michael. Because they're not here anymore. And this is when we hear, actually, it's 2003... No, should I say 2002 New Year's Eve. So it's about to be 2003. And that's why you've been drinking that crazy wine.
It makes zero sense. This is so stupid. And what has this got to do with the story either?
Then Tyrion's like, I know what you're thinking. You're crazy. I can assure you, you are not. Great lines again. Is it the script's fault? The director's fault, the actor's fault, or is it just the combination of everything?
Just everything.
Just everything's absolutely terrible. So now that these people from the year 2003 have disappeared, they're not around the house anymore.
No, from 2016, you mean?
Thus ever. Yeah. Right? So now we're transported, I guess, how many 100 years back?
We're not. We're in 2003 now.
But we can't be, because now we've got the locals outside drinking, the hunters.
That's what I just said. It's supposedly now that we're in 2003.
Are you telling me...
It's like 1803.
No way is the hunters thing 2003. Mm-hmm. So the whole 2003 thing was when he walks into the house, he's already magically in 2003.
No, so the story takes place in 2016, I believe. With all the people that we initially met.
Even though this is a 2025 movie.
That Jimmy... attacks him and all that. He drinks the wine, nods off, wakes up in 2003, and apparently Romania in 2003 is like...
colonial times or something.
Yeah.
I've been to Romania.
I know.
I've actually been to Transylvania. Mm-hmm. And, where they are kind of... it was a communist country, or former communist country at least, for a long time, slightly behind in certain things. I mean, they weren't this far behind.
No.
In 2003.
They weren't dressed in some sort of, like, Robin Hood get-up.
So anyway, you schooled me there, because I just assumed we're now back, because Tyrion's in his Tyrion outfit now, so I'm thinking, no, this can't be 2003. This must be,
It is, because now that
Michael's
Michael's on board with, Tyrion being a 500-year-old jester, Tyrion's like... oh, okay, I can just wear my old garb now.
Right. It looks way less comfortable than what he was originally wearing, so I wouldn't have gone back to it if I was him, but I guess maybe if what used to it used to. So yeah, so now these people from 2003, which I thought were some old hunters and farmers from way long ago, these are now the new people who are planning to kill you, Michael, is what Touchstone tells him. So these locals are drinking outside, speaking their own language and stuff like this, and they're kind of like carving up meat and stuff like this. Like everything is shown very old school. Like there's no plates, no cutlery. It's all like this old stuff. And they're all wearing like old timey hats and things like this. One of them comes up to Michael and is like, "Yeah, come over here and try our meat." He says something like, "Oh, I'm a vegetarian" or whatever, which will come back to haunt him later when he's captured. And this is like he goes up to the locals. And when he walks over to the table, they're trying to like coerce him to have dinner with him or whatever.
Yeah.
He walks away, and as he's walking away, this random guy comes down the stairs and he's like, "I found the pickles." And he's got a jar of pickles.
But why?
And that goes nowhere. He's like, "I found pickles."
It's so random.
So he's found the pickles now.
But obviously, because he's been time transported as well, he can't just leave because his car's not there or anything.
I think he's somewhat attacked now because I've written Michael starts running through the woods like a fanny. And
He
I
is
say fanny because
attacked.
he's like, it's like the Heisman Trophy in slow motion with his
yeah.
legs, his knees are going right up to his chin. Like,
What I call a Scooby-Doo run.
Cannot run.
And
a man tries to shoot from 2 feet away and misses. When he goes into the woods, this hunter from 2003 comes with a shotgun and is like about as close as me and you are and manages to miss him.
yeah.
So he starts running again, but who appears? Touchstone appears in the woods and he's like, "Look, you have no choice but to kill these people or they're going to get you." So he then stabs this tenacious hunter. Like he does it's what is believed is his first kill. No, second kill. Actually,
well, it's his first
because we don't know who scythed Jimmy. Yeah. So and this is where he gets more Tyrion. Because he's now giving advice like, "You must use the element of surprise to attack." So he's like,
yeah,
he's
because
giving
these
him
hunters
tactical...
are like really professional at what they do, and they'll track you.
Yeah.
You can't just run away.
Exactly. So then Michael is then knocked out. He like kills one, and then someone hits him in the face with the butt of their gun. And when he comes to, he's being transported like upside down. He's dangling, and it seems that Touchstone is flying next to him. Can Touchstone fly?
I was just imagining like the track that they put down and like the little platform that someone's pushing the actor on for Touchstone to just be like,
yeah. I mean, you're never going to do it justice with dialogue, vocabulary.
Oh my God.
It's just something that you have to see. And when he's been transported, dangling.
yeah, like they would transport like a
the
carcass.
hunters are speaking Romanian, and all of a sudden Touchstone just goes, and they start speaking English because he's magic. He's absolute mad. And none of this is done with like no irony or humour.
Does it
It's
really
all played
matter?
straight.
You know, whether Michael can understand what they're saying or not. Does it actually make a difference?
Yeah, I don't know. And so I said, like, they've invited him to eat earlier on, but as we know, Michael's a vegetarian. So as they finish dangling, they put him on the floor, and then to torture, and they're like, "Here, eat this meat." And he's like, "Whoa, no. Like they're putting, human remains in his mouth or something like that. So it's just a bit of steak, mate. Relax. What kind of torture is that? He has some lovely steak. He then manages to shank one of them in the neck, and once again he runs away like a fanny into the woods, right? And
Well, he is outnumbered, Johnny.
and out of nowhere,
they're literally, like you said, they're in the middle of nowhere
yeah,
in the forest, and just some random couple just appear. They're just having a hike 500 miles from anywhere that is known, and they're in the middle of this now.
So I guess this shows that it is 2003 because this is a modern day couple. But then it just begs the question: why are these Romanians dressed in clothing that I can't even put my finger on?
I know.
It's almost like they're dressed for that cosplay, that reenactment.
Like a medieval
things.
fair or
Yeah,
something.
exactly.
Yeah, but also, if you tell me, because you said this is a Romanian production.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if this was Hollywood and it was like some Americans being like, "Oh yeah, Romanians are all backwards. Let's spruce this up and put them in some medieval outfits." But these Romanians who are putting their own people from 2003 in these outfits, it was so baffling. Mind you, everything about this film was just like, what was the point in that? But anyway, this modern hiking couple gets caught up in the whole shebang.
Yeah, they're shot at and stuff. The girl runs off and the man is captured. The man is captured and the hunters take him and they scalp him. And the scalping's normally good. You know, I like a good scalping in a horror movie, but it's the guy's reaction to being scalped was terrible, terrible.
I bought it.
At best. And now Michael is just kind of like holding on to the lady in the woods, and then she is captured while Michael runs off. So as Michael runs off, he obviously wakes up in the house again, and Touchstone is like, "They'll rape and kill her, you know. Aren't you going to save her?" He's like, "What? That's pretty much the performance, isn't it?"
He was like seeing them hold her down and stuff, and he was just like, oh my god, it was so annoying.
So in a quick, you know, we'll get through this quickly. He gets an axe, a tiny axe, and buries it in one of the hunter's head. Yeah, it was really terribly shot. He then gets a gun and shoots one. And then the girl was being held hostage, and she manages to grab a stake, because it's Transylvania, stakes him in the leg, and then stakes him in the chest, and he's dead. And then Michael's like, "We must get out of here. Come with me." He takes her to a bedroom and he goes, "Stay here. we'll wait until morning." I was like, "Do you want to get out?
Rest.
Do you want to get out of here, or do you want to wait until morning?" You've said that in the same sentence after the sentence.
Yeah, but also this is the same guy who has been told by Touchstone that he needs to off all these people or he's going to be killed. And the first guy has a gun, and he's like, "Nah, I won't take the gun. I'm just going to go and wait and see what kind of weapons I can find." He then
does start collecting weapons, though. He picks up like 7 guns or whatever. And now Touchstone is once again talking to the one-eyed man, and the one-eyed man says to him, "You are boring me to death." I'm like, "Yeah, not just you, mate." Like, every time Touchstone is on monologuing, it's painful.
I was just bored throughout the whole
painful.
film.
Yeah, like, please let this end.
I literally asked you, like, probably only halfway through. I was like, "Is this almost over?"
So of course, what happens? The hunters are attacking again. Stuff happens, and what happens again? Michael wakes up in a chair, and he finds Touchstone, and he's like, "I'm leaving. I'm getting into my car. I'm getting out," because it turns out that it's now
back 2016
again. So he says goodbye, but then he comes across Cyclops. Michael comes across Cyclops as he's leaving, and Cyclops is like, "Follow me, companion." It turns out he works for MI6. He's like James Bond, Cyclops. He's like, "I do favours for glorious UK." Excellent. But Michael sees right through him. He can tell he's a bad guy.
Oh.
So he stabs him. Yeah. Michael stabs the MI6 agent Cyclops. Touchstone appears. Michael throws a fit and leaves the room. And as he leaves the room, Touchstone looks at Cyclops and goes, "This guy."
Oh, dear God.
After that wonderful scene, the lady Sarah and the older lady are back outside. And I've written again, is it 2003 again? But you're telling me it's 2016, right? Michael decides to leave. He's driving away with Sarah. But she's adamant that probably Charlie, who's Mr. Pennington, Michael Ironside, may have done something to Jimmy earlier. Yeah. Right? That's why they can't find him, the one that's been signed, because he's a shareholder in this movie that they may be making. So with that news, they decide to drive back.
No, they've only been driving for about 2 seconds. There's a tree across their path.
Okay, whatever. Well, either way is a dumb reason to go back straight away. They drive back. Charlie then starts talking to Michael, and he starts blaming the wife for Jimmy's death because of a contract incentive. Ooh.
It's all completely pointless, by the way.
It is completely pointless. Everyone sits around the dinner table again. Touchstone pops up again. And wouldn't you know it, Mr. Pennington ends up being poisoned around the table. And the 2 ladies, Sarah and the old lady, start accusing Michael. What? No, I would never poison. I didn't make the food. I didn't pour the drinks. I didn't use arsenic. And then she goes like, "Well, you've just given yourself away, knowing that arsenic poisons people." And then he's just like, yeah, mouth open the whole time.
Shoves some meat in it.
Yeah, so they decide they're going to chuck Michael out into the cold Transylvania
and
night.
That's how he'll die.
So that he can freeze to death. Meanwhile, Sarah gets arrowed by someone off screen as well. Now that Sarah's been arrowed, Michael is no longer in the cold outside. He finds himself in what looks to be like the cook's part of the house or something like this. some like dingy kitchen, and the old lady's coming after him, saying that she's gonna like peel him and eat him or something like this.
I don't remember. I must have been just so bored out of my
She
mind.
tries to kill him, then Michael kills her.
Yeah.
He runs away. Touchstone appears once again, but the old lady is alive, and then Touchstone says, "He is the Archangel Michael, and he has passed the test." And then she says, "Well, we'll see if he passed the test tomorrow." And then they both go, excellent. So now everyone's alive again. Touchstone is dressed in his royal jester garb now, with the ruffle neck and all that stuff, and he's standing in front of everybody who's alive. So Jimmy's back, Sarah's back,
the hiking
Pennington's
couple.
back, the hiking couple, who the guy's been scalped, him.
Everyone.
And while this is going on, we get two instances of Michael. First, he's like, "Stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it," to Touchstone. He doesn't stop it. And they start praising Michael as the best candidate in years. But for what? I'm not entirely sure. Cyclops then shows up as well. Like, he comes out, he walks in. "Hello, I'm Cyclops." And he's pissed that all of his lines were cut. Cut from what?
Well, from the script. They've been following a script, Johnny. Aren't you aware?
Yeah, I am. But
so
it makes no sense when later on they're like, now you can write a script for this.
for the next one.
Cyclops, when he moans that all his lines are cut, he's then like, he has a moan and he says, "Pleased to meet you, goodbye," and just leaves. But I think that was supposed to be a heavy moment that he's never going to see old One Eye again. And this is when, they now let him know what's happened to Michael.
Yeah, it turns out, as I mentioned right at the start, Michael's dead. He fell asleep at the wheel, and this has all been a scripted test. For what? I don't know. It seems everyone else buggers off at the end, but they're all like, "Oh yes, it was very difficult on all of us. We're sorry we had to put you through this." And it's like, well, why did you have to put him through this?
You've just mentioned that they've told him that he's dead.
Yeah.
Right. So they explain in no uncertain terms that he is dead, and then Michael goes, "You're telling me I'm dead?" and then he's like, "We couldn't tell you because we had to initiate you." So we've already had him going, "Stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it." When they tell him that, he goes, "Shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up." This is a tour de force acting performance. And then Touchstone stabs Michael to show him that he is, in fact, dead. And then they all start, like, disappearing, didn't they? As they walk out.
I assume what they're saying is that Michael is now the keeper of this house? But why did they need to initiate him? Why was part of that initiation him killing everyone? Why the time travel? Why have they all disappeared? And then why right at the end, after it's like, oh my god, he's actually been dead this whole time, do we then get shown around the house with dust sheets over everything? And
you're missing the all valuable ending though. Once Touchstone has stabbed Michael and he realises, oh my god, I am dead, Touchstone then reveals to him that the next initiation script is for you to write, Michael, and all the world is a stage. And then the camera goes to Michael and he's like, and we are merely players. Finn! Because, when your movie is this good, you have to quote Shakespeare, the greatest writer of all time.
Like, that's the third time they used that quote as well.
And as I said, all the characters start like go disappearing into thin air. Touchstone walks outside to like a gun cavalry where they all shoot off into the air.
Yeah, the medieval-looking Romanian hunters
from 2003. To which then Michael says, "They can see you now." And that's when we get the panning over all of the house in dust sheets.
Ugh.
Thank you, Romania. Thank you, Romania.
Absolutely baffling, pointless, atrocious performances. No good, cinematic tech. Just nothing.
No, there's some of the shot composition is frankly appalling. The lead guy, I can't. This guy's been in like Peaky Blinders and things like this. I'm shocked that he will ever work again after that performance. It was abysmal. And then Howard the Duck as Touchstone was just Tyrion. And why is this a Romanian's example of an Englishman? It says specifically the American scriptwriter Michael comes across an Englishman. For Englishman from Canada.
I don't know, but they also seem to like add in so many random, completely useless details. They're like, this house was built by the Romanian royal family, didn't you know? Oh, okay, well that explains a lot.
This bedroom belonged to the Queen of Romania 100 years ago.
Why is that?
And then we'll skip over that and just start talking about pickles.
And were they saying that
they've bought the pickles?
Yeah, were they saying that this English jester Touchstone was in the Romanian court then?
Yeah.
Everything is completely baffling.
The lady that played Sarah, the German actress, she was pretty bad as well. Everyone was just bad in this. I mean,
and it turns out, by the way, this is you mentioned it earlier on. You're like, oh, we'll get to that. So the older guy, Michael Ironside, and then the younger guy, Jimmy, who was Side.
Oh yeah.
Turns out they're father and son, but Jimmy is the dad. And he's like, look how big he's gotten.
Yeah, oh God.
Because they stay looking the age at which they died. So obviously the dad died younger than his son.
So like a 75-year-old Michael Ironside is the son of like a 45-year-old Jimmy. And son, look how big you've gotten.
Yeah.
Profound.
So true.
It's profound.
It's so stupid. And also, are they suggesting now that Michael is taking over the whole thing in place of like the 10 people that were there already?
Well, he's got the minerals, isn't he? Disgusting. I'm a vegetarian.
Now that he's, fake killed a bunch of people, apparently he can
in 2003, 2016, and
what
I thought
from
was
2003.
1592, something like that.
Oh my God!
But as long as you get the pickle, give me the pickle. Great,
that's vegetarian.
Great stuff. Yeah, maybe that's why he's so excited to feed this guy a pickle, because he turned down the meat. Maybe that's what it was about.
I got the pickle.
What do you think about the €2 million budget? Where's that money gone?
Yeah, I can also only imagine.
Where's the money gone?
That
seriously.
Crew, locations, everything must be cheaper.
Everything, yeah, of course it is. It's Romania.
And it wasn't a big cast.
No.
It was one location.
Maybe Michael Ironside took like 1.95 million.
That's the only explanation, really, isn't it?
Possibly. Because €2 million. So someone gave these people €2 million to make this, and they won't give me like 15% of that to make Heathen. Yeah, baffling stuff, but not my bottom pick of the week. We'll go to your second pick, and what was my third place, Together, starring Dave Franco, brother of James, and Alison Brie Cheese, who is his real life wife. Dave Franco, Alison Brie are married, and it opens up with a search party in the woods. People are searching these woods. They come across eventually a couple of dogs who are melded together.
Well, the dogs drink from some little underground well type thing first, and then they meld together. And also, for the split second that we see these dogs melded together,
you were like, what?
It was like an arts and crafts project from school. It was like they just got a bunch of felt and fake fur and just went like. It so didn't look realistic.
Yeah, there are a couple of instances of the practical effects for a $3.5 million budgeted movie that clearly they weren't using the money for practical effects.
So, what I understood from this is that this film is about a sunken church with a magic well that if you drink the waters from it, you and your partner meld and become one.
Yeah, something like that. So James Franco and Alison Brie Cheese, they're at a party. It turns out it's their leaving party. They're leaving the city.
This is painful.
They're leaving the city, right? And we're kind of like given a bunch of information through dialogue that they're not sexing, for instance. They haven't had sex for ages.
Yeah,
Franco and Alison Brie Cheese.
Friend is so annoying.
Yes,
she's
she
such
is.
a downer. Like everything is like oh, well, I don't think this sounds good, and oh, I don't think that's going to be a good idea, and oh, he's not fucking you, so you shouldn't. It's just like, back off.
I feel like every girl who's married has a friend like that, though. So, they're not sexing, and Dave Franco is a musician, but he's been recently dropped from his label. Mm-hmm. And Alison Brie Cheese's brother is also in a band. So even though Dave Franco's been dropped from his label, you know, God closes a door, but he opens a window, and he's offered the chance to play guitar on tour with his band. He's like, I'll do it, but oh, wait, I'm moving away. I'm going to be like 2 hours away from the city. So he's not sure, but he still commits to it. He commits to it. After this conversation, so we know what Dave Franco's going through, right? Mm-hmm. He then goes inside, and it's time for his big speech to all of his pals, because, you know, we're leaving the city and we're moving out into the sticks in the middle of nowhere. But as he's telling...
Have you ever left a place and just done a big speech to your friends?
Yeah. Oh. As he's doing this speech, though, as he's making this speech, behind him, oh dear, we just see Alison Brie Cheese get on bending knee, asking Dave Franco to marry her. Now imagine just suffering the ignominy as a lady of getting on bended knee and asking a man to marry you.
Yeah, but even...
It just makes me shudder.
Even that aside...
Dave Franco agrees.
She was also doing that, and she had nothing in her hands.
Yeah.
But also I was like, regardless of the gender roles thing, you know, we're living in an enlightened society.
I'm not. I'm absolutely not.
But what I found weirdest was that this situation, is this really the most romantic moment to be like, will you marry me?
Well, a lot of
in
people...
front of all your mates.
A lot of people seem to like to do it in front of everybody they know, so they like to make a big show of themselves, don't they?
I just find that
It's the same thing with the wedding.
Weird.
Look at me, look at me. Praise me, love me. That's what, you know, a lot of ladies are like for weddings, aren't they? So they just want the big day. Like, ladies get addicted to getting wed because all the attention's on them.
Yeah, you're right. Let's get divorced so I can marry someone else again.
Would you get on your bended knee to...
No.
Exactly. See that? See? So we're not living in enlightened times, are we? Neither of us.
You and I are very backward, you know. We're old-fashioned.
Backwards people. Yeah.
We're like those hunters from... Jester from
Transylvania, the blood brought the pickle. So now that Dave Franco's noticed that Alison Brie Cheese is on bended knee with no ring, but is clearly proposing, it's kind of like, and that would be my response as well to a girl on bended knee. I'm like, what the heck? Get up.
It's like he's
pull yourself together, woman, and get off the floor.
Trying to hold in a big fart or something.
And he kind of he ums and ers and half says yes, half says no. It just cuts from the embarrassment to them in bed. And she tries to make a move on him after we'd found out they've not been sexing for a while. But he's like, oh, sorry, baby. I
think I drank too much.
I don't think there's ever been an instance in my life where I've drank too much. Maybe one time. After he rejects her from having drank too much, she starts being mean now.
Oh.
She starts being a bit mean.
But also, even before this, like, with the whole proposal thing, I felt really, like, bad for the way everyone reacted to it. Because... he's literally trying to be like, say goodbye to all his friends. His life's in upheaval. She is just out of the blue on her knee.
Selfish.
And because he takes more than a beat to say yes, he's apparently an evil demon. And
all men are.
I'm like, I'm sorry, both... It took, like, I was so shocked when I turned around and you were on your knee. There's nothing I wanted more than to say yes, but it still took me more than a few hours, like... And my best friend, when she got proposed to, apparently she couldn't talk for an hour because she was in so much shock. Doesn't mean that we don't want it.
It's because it
just takes Tom a minute to register
are shining examples of stellar men, and you and Lizzie could not believe your luck.
No, it's because he took you both like 9 years, so by that point we just thought it was never going to happen.
I had to make sure.
So we were so shocked that we just didn't know what to do.
There's that whole thing of try before you buy. Do it for 9 years.
But anyway, yeah, so I thought that... Because he says, he does say yes.
Yeah, because
it's not fair to be angry at him for taking a second.
He's apologising in bed. It's like, baby, it doesn't mean anything. Like, I said yes, but she then just starts, like, poking at him. So already, I'm on Team Franco, not Brie Cheese.
Although, I mean, she hasn't been fucked in God knows how long.
Well, with behaviour like that, I'm not surprised. right? And now, randomly, there's like a grudge-type nightmare. So both decide to go to sleep, and at the end of the room, Dave Franco sees these two figures with like crazy bug eyes. And I say grudge like because they come under the sheet. And that's kind of the end of that. Well, now we're in the new house in the woods.
Yeah.
So they're unpacking all their stuff, all that stuff that you do. But there's a weird smell in the house. Dave Franco knows about smells in this movie. And he goes to like the ceiling.
Yeah, somehow he's got like the nose of a bloodhound because he knows exactly that in the fixture of the lamp on the landing, he needs to undo that. And then he pulls out what turns out to be like a group of, I want to say like 5 rats whose tails have kind of been melded together. Yeah.
Pulls those out of there. Now, I've been calling them obviously Dave Franco and Alison Brie Cheese. Their characters' names are actually Tim and Millie. So I'll refer to them as Tim and Millie from now on mostly. I'm sure that Dave Franco will get in there again. And so Millie now goes to work. Millie's working and she meets this colleague called Jamie. Now, I've got to assume that we're all supposed to know instantly that Jamie's a wrong one. Because, it's just clear. I'm not saying he's like playing like, but it's clear. It was clear to me instantly that this guy is a wrong one. He's going to be everything that goes wrong with these people.
I guess so, because normally in a film like this, when you get someone who's like overly friendly and is like, they're clearly trying to make you, I guess, like the person, it's so over the top that you're like,
Yeah, if they were trying to red herring him, it was just too much. Like, I didn't see him as a red herring. I just saw him, he's the bad guy, and we're only like 10 minutes into the movie. So that's one of the reasons.
He's the only other character you meet anyway.
One reason I put it bottom, but it doesn't necessarily mean that he has to be bad, though, does it? Because we've seen the search pipe beginning with an inverted, collapsed church or whatever.
Yeah.
Right. So after we're introduced to him, Millie and Tim, they decide to go walking around the woods where their house is.
Yeah, I loved this though. This was hilarious because Millie's like, "Hey baby, you wanna come to bed?" And he's like, No, I've gotta, learn my guitar bits for your brother's band. And he's like, she's obviously disappointed, no cock for her again. And yet he's like, "How about tomorrow though? We go and do a hike like you wanted."
Yeah.
That makes up for it, doesn't it?
Not everyone is sex crazed.
Well, clearly Millie is.
Yeah, well, clearly she is, yeah. She must be going absolutely bonkers. So as they're walking around the woods, the weather obviously takes a turn for the worse. They get lost. They pull out compasses. Dave Franco's like, "This is north." I thought that would help. He doesn't know anything, does he?
Yeah, there were a couple
Reminds me a bit of me, actually.
I'm an bits that was said and done that I did think were kind of funny.
Yeah. It was James Franco saying that and the whole mildew thing later on.
Yeah.
Which are two of the good things. Now, I've been watching Dave Franco pretty much since he was in Scrubs. The man is not aging. What is going on? He's not aging whatsoever.
Yeah. He looks like a little baby in this.
And he's going to be playing Vanilla Ice soon in the biography of Robert Van Winkle himself.
You are joking.
No, I'm not joking. Yeah.
Wow.
So that'll be good. It will be good. So as I say, like the weather takes a turn for the worse. All goes wrong, and they end up falling down the ditch, the massive hole. What does this remind you of? Jeepers Creepers. You fall down a hole. Where's the creeper?
Or that alligator thing when they go down the hole.
No, Jeepers Creepers.
I was thinking more the alligator
Jeepers
thing.
Creepers. What alligator thing?
I don't remember what it's called because we've seen so many. An Australian one. They fall a hole.
Oh, the guy
and then there's a crocodile or an alligator. Sure.
Don't know anything, do you? So when's the creeper coming? Anyway, they're in this hole. They don't seem to be that bothered though.
No, they're like, "Oh, let's just hunker down because at least we're out of the rain." I was like, "Great, you're in some underground cavern which looks disgusting."
Yeah, I mean, there's literally like mud, just mud.
And also, they would say like they're showing around, and normally it's good in a horror movie that it's not super lit, but they're like, "What?"
Lit AF.
But they're like, "What is this stuff?" And I was like, "I don't know, I can't see."
Yeah, can't see.
I can't tell, but apparently we get told in dialogue later that they're like pews and stuff.
Yeah, Millie also mentions when that she's thirsty. There's not much water.
Oh, we know she is.
So, she's thirsty, all right. So Tim has got some, I think, water on him a little bit, but he's also got a bottle of wine. I think he has a bottle of wine. A bit of a wino, isn't he? And Tim decides, right, you have the real water. I'm just going to drink from this collected rainwater from the ditch, which we've obviously seen at the beginning. The dog's doing, who ended up being connected together by paper mache.
Yeah, and also they mention around this point when he's trying to build a fire that they used to watch some kind of like survival show, right? Mm-hmm. You would think that even without having seen that, but especially having watched that, you know not to go and fill your water bottle with stagnant underground water.
He does anyway, and after this, they decide to have somewhat of like an intimate little campfire tale thing together. And I've said that Dave Franco in this movie knows about stank. So he starts telling a story about stank in his old house, where in his childhood home, there was some stank.
Yeah, his dad kept coming home and being like, clean your room, and then tore it apart. And then they found out that there was a deceased rodent, again, in the light fitting that had been slowly cooking from the light.
And he says that he'd been breathing in all this death.
Yeah.
And then wasn't there like a lady in the
right.
bed?
So this is when we also then find out what the, incident is that stopped them having sex and that he's been recovering from. Turns out his dad passed away and his mum just kept living
with the corpse
in the bed.
And that was the stank that was coming later.
Yeah, and that was, he came to visit or whatever, and he just found his mum in bed
smelling
next to the dead dad.
Creepy, yeah. And I mentioned I've seen like Dave Franco pretty much all throughout his career, like 21 Jump Street. He's the bad guy in 21 Jump Street, Scrubs and that. Now, I've only seen him do these silly roles. I thought when he was being sincere and serious, so I thought he did it quite well. Yeah,
no, like there was some seriously dumb things in this movie, but the performances I thought were perfectly acceptable.
Yeah, certainly. But I'm saying, I've never seen him do anything serious before.
I didn't like his mullet, but that's just
No, that's just modern times. He's a musician in 2025, so of course you've got to give him a stupid mullet. Yeah, and a bit of like crappy facial hair. Yeah, so they fall asleep in the cave after this stank talk, and Dave Franco wakes up to an ominous noise, and the cave is like breathing, but it's just a dream. It's just a dream, but then he wakes up from the dream, and their legs are stuck together. And they kind of like tried to pull their legs apart.
And
it's all
kind
sticky.
Of hurting, yeah.
Yeah.
And then he blames it on Tim's mildew. Like, oh, it's probably mildew. And they both just accept that. Like, really? Do you know what mildew is?
Now, because it's morning, of course, you can just easily get out of the hole.
Of course, yeah.
I don't understand why they couldn't get out of the hole at night.
Well,
why did they stay there at night?
Why would you want to go out in the rain and you're lost? Now they usually
Why do you want to stay in a hole?
Well,
anyway,
I certainly wouldn't be able to fall asleep in there.
They get out of the hole,
that's
and they get back home. Dave Franco, Tim now decides to start massaging Millie, and goes a bit weird.
Yeah, it does go a bit weird. And she's like, okay, I'm going to go out and get some groceries. Why don't you have a shower? I'm like, ew.
At this point...
You've slept in a cave all night and you still haven't had a shower.
Okay with the film. At this point, I'm okay with the film. But now we get the first instance of, oh no. Because she drives off, he goes to have a shower.
Oh.
Now, the movie is called Together. They're drawn together. They can't be apart. So this is all starting to happen now because they've already been in the cave. He's drunk from the collected rainwater. She goes to drive away in her car. Dave Franco gets in the shower. And as she drives forward, his head goes against the tiles in the shower. When she turns right, he turns right in the shower. And it just wasn't a good way of showing what the movie's trying to get at.
Oh my god, I hated this. I was like laughing because it was just so dumb.
It was laughable, yeah.
And the way they were like trying to make it look really like painful and stuff, like smashing him side to side. I was like, it's
the kind of thing you'd think that you would look at the dailies of and just decide this isn't working. We need to change it somehow. Just do something more subtle even.
Yeah, it was
not
horrendous.
That. It really was bad. But that is not even that. If that was just the only thing in here, I wouldn't have put it bottom because the reason we put it bottom comes a bit later on. So after this, Tim goes to see a doctor. When he sees the doctor mentions the missing couple who the search party were looking for at the beginning of the film. So this information is now put into Tim's head about this missing couple who went missing in the forest next to their new house. And he goes home and he starts Googling it. He starts to get a little bit obsessed with it. And then we get some stupid small talk about stupid social media posts. Yeah, I didn't enjoy that either. Jamie now knocks on the door. Jamie from Millie's work.
Right.
The one who I
the
could tell instantly was the bad guy. And he comes in for a drink and he starts talking about the chapel. Mentions somewhat that it was a cult that moved away.
I mean, that's what they're saying. Like, oh, it must have been a cult. And he's like, well, I mean, they were hippies and stuff. Oh, a cult.
Dave Franco.
But how did this church just sink into the ground as well?
Well, that's not too important for a horror movie, I guess.
And was this the bit where he talked about about some
Plato?
old Plato? Was this the bit where he says about
No,
that?
I don't think he mentions it yet. I'm not sure if he mentions it just now, but possibly, though. Just mention the Plato thing anyway.
So, apparently Plato was saying that when humankind...
I call him Plato.
...was first around, we had 2 faces, 4 arms, 4 legs.
Yeah,
and then
we were born almost back to back.
And the gods got jealous and thought we were too powerful. So they split us into what we are now and doomed us to forever try and find our missing partner.
Which is absolutely not a bad premise for a horror film.
No.
Not at all. But
I don't see how Plato ever thought that was real, though. That's stupid. Can you imagine? What would you do with 4 legs?
Maybe he wasn't that smart after all.
Maybe it was just supposed to be like a theoretical thing of like, I don't actually think this happens. It's just why people need a partner.
Tim, a.k.a. Dave Franco, he's not too enamoured with Jamie, is he? He thinks he's overly friendly, like you mentioned earlier on, because he
thinks that he likes...
He's topping up Alison Brieche's wine and things like this, but what he fails to realise is that Jamie's actually gay, so he's got no problem. But after they say goodbye to Jamie, he's in a bit of a huff, but they end up kissing at the door, and this is when their lips stick together, almost like Society-like, but nowhere near as good as Society.
Yeah, and again, she's apparently like really,
horny again?
Thirsty. And yet, when he's like snogging her, and then their lips thing, and she's like, oh my god, did you just bite my lip? What the fuck is wrong with you? If you don't want me, just say so. I'm like...
Yeah, she stinks.
What? I don't get it.
As a character,
like,
she stinks.
If you don't like the biting the lip thing, fine, you can mention that, but what part of that makes you think that he doesn't want you?
Maybe she doesn't like any aggression. She just likes it. Maybe he's so bored with having, vanilla sex with her. She doesn't take any biting, spanking, all that good stuff, So it's her fault. Anyway, they're in bed now, and she is complaining that he is on her hair. Mm-hmm. But he's not actually on her hair. She turns around and all of her hair is stuffed down Tim's throat. He's like trying to take it out. Again, not a bad scene.
No, that was decent. It looked like it was going to be pulling his innards out.
Yeah, but instead he just spits out a big chunk of it on the floor. It looks like like a scalped.
And he was clearly asleep with like a long chunk of all her hair in it, and yet she gets pissed off at him.
That's what I'm saying.
Why are you eating my hair?
She stinks as a character.
So yeah, he did that on purpose.
Why would anyone root for her? Why would anyone like Millie? Millie really sucks. She really sucks. But of course, this is Hollywood's version of a strong woman, just an angry shrew. She becomes very shrew-like. Now, next morning, he's off to this gig that he says, he got the guitar part for. So she drops him off at the station, and she's moaning about that. Oh my god, you're the only 38-year-old who doesn't drive, and you're such a baby. As she drives off, after dropping at the station with his guitar and his 2 pretty big bags that he's got as well. It's not going to be easy travel for 2 hours on this. We then get the same thing in the shower almost, except for he's not moving around. Once he drives away, he starts to feel that he can't function anymore. So he misses the train, leaves his guitar there, leaves all of his stuff there, and decides to start walking back up the country road. Meanwhile, Millie is teaching. And there's a student that she has. She's teaching a young class. It's not like teens or anything like that. They're probably old as 10 years old. And one of the weirdo little kids, she's drawing a picture. And it's a picture of these conjoined dogs. Mm-hmm. And it turns out, I assume that was her pet, her dog. So is it her parents then that are missing and she's just now an orphan child?
No, those dogs belong to one of the people who's leading the search party. The dogs were helping to search. Okay.
Now, earlier on, you mentioned Millie's very annoying friend, and here she pops up for the second time in the film.
Yeah, kids are on break. Millie's alone in the classroom, and she's on video call with her friend. And again, her friend is like, I really liked him. She doesn't. But,
no.
Is it really this? And is he worth it? And ugh! She is so negative. It's like, why would you be friends with someone who only ever sees the negatives? And it's like,
Why would you?
Just support me.
This is the point now where the film completely loses me. This is why it's bottom. This is one of the reasons that it's bottom. So while they're having this conversation, Millie lets it be known what she thinks Tim's good characteristics are. She's like, oh, he's a music snob. And I told him on our first date that I love the Spice Girls. And, you know, instead of berating me, the next time we met, he turned up with Spice on vinyl. I'm like, okay, that's a bit weird. Then the best friend starts saying to Millie, why are you with him? He's like a 35-year-old white man who still thinks he's gonna be a rock star. What is this? What is this? Oh, he's a 35-year-old white man who thinks he's gonna be a rock star. Now,
what has the race got to do with anything?
What has the race got to do with anything? Because if we just go in cliche, stupid Hollywood terms and turn it around, are they saying then, oh, you know, they wouldn't be like, oh, you're with a 35-year-old black man who wants to be a rapper. What does it have to do with anything? Is the opposite, if that is the opposite, is that then fine? Is it because he's a white man that wants to be a rock star as opposed to a black fella or an Indian fella that wants to be whatever?
I was genuinely in fact, I think I turned to you and I was like, what's the race got to do with anything? Why did she have to specify white guy?
Yeah.
Like, I understand there's a certain point in life, like, you know, Millie obviously wants to marry him. They're in the middle of nowhere. He's been dropped by his label. He's 35. For most people, this will be the point where you give up on those dreams and you get a real job. But what the hell has the fact that he's white got to do with anything? And it was just baffling.
It's the writing. So the problem is they insert this bollocks into everything, right? Think about it. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the Netflix version. Oh, it's all just white people's fault that Leatherface is out here with a chainsaw. The most recent Batman, you got Zoe Kravitz, right? Ultimate Nepo baby. Her Catwoman's like, oh, it's all the rich old white men. Why is it in Batman? Why is it just in every single movie now? Everyone that makes movies in Hollywood is just like, it seems to be like a total dipshit. They can't write. So they just insert this in there because they think that is what people want to hear or whatever.
Well, I haven't actually seen those ones, so I can't mention it. But it was just...
It's completely right. Well, you have seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre because we watch it together.
Oh, that one, yeah, okay, but not the back. But in this one, like I said, it was just like, it didn't need to be added.
Sticking it to Whitey, edgy. Real edgy. You know, it's absolutely pathetic. So that's one of the things. I'm just, you know, it's going to instantly relegate you to bottom and not worth listening to. So secondly, as a character, he's already been signed by a label. He's been on a label. Mm-hmm. And if it wasn't for the problems of the movie, he was about to go on tour again as a guitarist. So he's doing absolutely fine, isn't he? Really, he's doing absolutely fine. So anyway, that is a big pet peeve of mine. All this stupid race stuff that Hollywood puts in a movie, and even British stuff. It doesn't exactly. It doesn't need to be added.
Unless it's part of the story. Why are people even bringing it up? It's like just you're making more of an issue out of something than it needs to be. He's 35
and he still thinks he's going to be a rock star. What does him having being white have to do with anything about that? These people are obsessed with race. Because you've even seen it recently. I'm trying not to go off on a tangent here, but, you know, just, again, at Oscars or whatever. Oh my God, I won an Oscar! And yeah, well, loads of people of different backgrounds have won Oscars. It's nothing new anymore. You know, it's nothing to cry over. Nothing to moan and bitch over. These people are sad. You would think they would have, like, one of the best lives in the world. They're acting for a living or writing for a living. And they just all seem miserable as hell. Long may it continue. So, it's at this point where she has to cut the conversation short. Mm-hmm. Because she sees Tim milling about in the bushes like a weirdo.
Yeah, he's looking worse for wear, and there's little kids playing, and he's just kind of slumping through. Does look a bit dodgy. Mm-hmm. She goes down, collects him, shoves him inside the building, and wouldn't you know it, Tim's found his fire again.
He's found his mojo. He's got his mojo back.
Yeah, his frozen mojo from his little vial.
So she takes him to the men's.
Yeah.
Locks
into the little boys' room.
Yeah, locks themselves into a cubicle, and they start going at it, and they have like a quick 60-second pump, but together.
This was hilarious.
His pee-pee is now stuck
to her wee-wee.
Yeah, and he can't pull himself out.
This is hilarious. Okay, so as with most Hollywood films, everything's kind of covered. We just see like the thigh and this and that, but then at one point, just to really prove the point that his willy is stuck, We get a nice overhead shot of just a stretched base of his penis. That was hilarious.
Yeah, again, there were some things in this movie that could have easily had it number one, but they tanked their own film.
And then
they tanked their own film with that white thing and stuff later on.
And then she's like, oh, again, she's getting angry at him.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think he's done? Slathered himself in super glue? Like,
oh, surely we are not supposed to like Millie. She's annoying shrew.
But why is she mad at him?
Her.
Like, this is so stupid.
That's what I'm saying.
And then she's like, oh, sorry. And he's like, no. And she's like, just shoves him out.
And there's a little boy student, though, hanging around outside. He goes and gets teacher, Jamie. Mm-hmm. So, of course, Dave Franco has to hide by standing on the toilet so he can't see his feet. And Jamie's like, what are you doing in here, Alison Brie-Cheese? This is the boys' room.
Yeah, and this, again, like, her reaction is so useless. Like, there are so many reasons, like, so many excuses you could make. Be like, oh, I'm sorry, it's my lady time and I just had to get to the closest bathroom. Or, you know, I'm having some sickness and I had to... Like, there are so many reasons why you could be in the wrong bathroom. And she's just like...
Did you mention that she is blood smeared down her thighs, though?
Well, that's the other thing. So, obviously, from this stuck willy vagina situation, it's hurt both of them. So, she gets a bit of trickle of blood down her leg. And, so the teacher, he's like, oh, little boy, go off to class. Nothing to see here. But he still is acting like, oh, you dirty bitch. I was like...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's ultra obvious that he's the bad guy from the first second you see him. After that little interaction, as Jamie's walking out the toilet, though, Tim comes down too quickly off the toilet and he catches his feet, doesn't he? We're thinking, uh-oh. Now as they've gone home, again, she's still mad at him. Still really mad at him.
She's saying, like,
for no reason.
You could have lost me my job, you forced me. He's like, I didn't force you to, like,
that would say it's rape.
And she's like, well, yes, you did. You don't give it to me for however long. Then you come to work and then, of course, I'm going to give it to you. So it's your fault.
Yeah,
no taking two to tango.
She makes no sense. So because she's in such a bad state, she decides that in the woods, she's going to go and knock for her neighbour, who happens to be Jamie.
To try and smooth things over.
Yeah, so she knocks for Jamie, starts blabbing, and it's all nicey-nicey. She gets invited in. And it turns out that Jamie used to have a husband. Mm-hmm. Used to being the operative word here, right? And as he's telling stories about his former husband and this kind of thing, he's about to invite... Millie to come and watch the wedding video, which, you know, we find out later on that would have been a bit of a weird scenario for her to go and watch this point. But before she can go and see it, she once again sees Timmy Boy loitering in the bushes. Yeah. not doing himself any favours, is he?
And so she makes excuses, goes out, and he's like, I'm sorry, I can't be apart from you.
Because the movie's called Together. Now he's working at night. He's working at night on his music. And he sees on his computer that his location is pretty much exactly where the couple went missing. So that kind of like freaks him out. As he finds this out, though, on the sliding glass doors, he sees a figure on the other side, and it's obviously Millie, we're thinking.
Not just on the other side, though. She smushes against it, doesn't she?
Yeah.
And then as he's moving, she's kind of moving up and down the glass with him, to the point where we then see her feet are not even touching the ground anymore.
Yeah, she has a bit of a fit. And the next day, he's like, wants to bring it on. He's like, we need to talk about this whole sticking together thing. Like, something is weird here.
Yeah, and then she's... Before we even get there, sorry, when he opens the door and she falls on him and is like, you know, he's freaking out. And he gives her a slap to wake her up. And then she's like, what the hell are you doing?
Well, you're having a fit.
You're attacking me.
Yeah.
No, if I'm having a fit, Johnny, don't just slap
me.
me.
If you're attacking me, maybe, yeah.
Anyway, next morning.
You did have a fit in front of me once.
I did. You didn't slap me.
I didn't, so yeah, I held myself back there. So the next morning he wants to talk about this whole sticking together thing. He's like, we have to confront this. There's something weird going on here, which we need to get out in the open. And she's like, I thought you just said it was mildew. He's like, I don't even know what mildew is. Yeah, mildew. The whole thing was mildew.
So stupid.
The delivery of that, though, was good.
Yeah.
Between the two of them. And then it just turns out she starts getting really mean. She says, I don't want you anymore. Like, we have to separate. Well, I want separate beds, all this kind of thing. So then we see that he's like bare like a little lost puppy dog. He's like, but, you know, I love you. And she's like, okay.
Yeah.
Just thought, well, she's a right cow. You're better off out of this.
Well, he's clearly going through some issues, and she's just like, oh, for better or worse. It's like, didn't you just propose to him like a week ago?
Exactly. So now they are in separate beds. But first of all, Tim starts getting dragged across the floor by unseen force. And of course, then it starts happening to Millie as well. But with Millie, it's more kind of acrobatic.
Yeah,
Try hard.
This lost me as well.
Same here.
So when they're trying to like gravitational pull towards each other, their bodies like contort and stuff, but it just like they're trying to do the whole Exorcist down the stairs kind of vibe. But
body contortion's been done.
It wasn't.
It's been done to death. No, it wasn't good. And what was even worse was, no, not worse, but just adds to it. So when their arms do start to interlock, when they come together. Previously, when Tim has been to the doctor, he's been given Valium.
Yeah.
So he's like, "Oh, get the Valium, the muscle relaxants," and he just start like snorting up muscle relaxants, like that's gonna do, and like they know that's gonna be the the cure for this, whatever. It was just a bit of an. I love OTT stuff, but this wasn't done just not in a quick. It was done in typical Hollywood manner, and when I say Hollywood manner, I'm talking also about uber lefty filmmakers as well, which is what all we seem to get these days. Really, I'm not really interested in whether you're left or right or whatever, centrist. But the problem is it keeps being inserted into this crap. So after the scene where we're seeing them dragged on the floor and interlocked.
And then trying to pull each other apart after snorting
we're then awake the next morning, and Millie seems to have been drinking.
No, she's tied him to a chair.
Yeah, I know she's tied him to a chair, but she seems manic.
No, she gives him a drink to like dull the pain. Turns out because their arms are connected, she's getting drunk as well.
Right. Okay. Yes. So I just thought that she'd been drinking as well because she was so. I mean, how much of a lightweight is she?
No, she's not being.
Because he seemed completely fine, really.
She said, "Oh, I was hoping you wouldn't wake up yet." Basically.
Yeah. So
because she has to separate their arms, and at this point again, like they've got a seriously old, rusty-looking like mechanical chainsaw, handsaw type thing.
It's like a bone saw.
A bone saw. And she takes it and she's like, "Oh, I'm going to slice her arms apart." And I was like, that does not seem like the smartest tool for the job.
Here's another reason why I've put this bottom. So like I say, next day he's tied to the chair. She's going to saw through his arm. She's been really Looney Tunes. She's gone like absolutely batshit crazy. It's starting to, the scene's starting to build some kind of intensity once he realises that his nutty wife-to-be is going to saw through his arm. And it builds and builds. And just before she goes to do it, like this is getting closer and closer and closer, she then quips some stupid joke. And it cuts out all the tension. Again, the movie makers have copped out. They've copped out completely. Because they know they've already lost the film earlier on, probably.
Yeah, but also we don't even see the gory bit.
No, we don't see the gory bit, but I'm just talking about building up intensity and then just laying in some lame joke, which again happens in every single modern day horror film. Everyone's like going on about Barbarian, like, "Oh, I love Barbarian." Build up tension. She gets to the open door and is like, nope. It's one of those kind of stupid one-line jokes. It just takes away anything. If you're going to have me take your movie seriously, your horror movie especially, leave out these, what are always, by the way, unfunny jokes anyway. They just completely ruined that scene. It was a scene that could have been good and just got instantly ruined. Did you not notice the joke?
I don't know. Was it her like dropping it and stuff? And then...
No.
No, I don't remember it. No.
Yeah, so after that complete cop-out, what could have been a good scene, she now goes back to Jamie's, right? Meanwhile,
she left her car keys.
Tim goes back to the church/hole, right? As Millie gets to Jamie's, he's not around, but there is a video playing of a church ceremony.
Yeah, it's him and his husband.
Yeah.
Getting married.
They're like hieroglyphics.
I don't know who was filming this though. I would.
One of the church members.
Yeah, well, surely no one professional being paid because their camera work is terrible. Because they keep not filming the couple.
Maybe it's one of these four-armed people.
And instead filming some things that for us as a viewer and for Millie, like it's like, oh, okay, so you're trying to show us this, but as a wedding video is absolute crap because it's just filming like the mural art and stuff. Reminds me of when my mum used to film us as
you're thinking of, okay, this is not a good wedding video, whereas I'm thinking this is how I want to see my found footage of, horror church weddings go. We're thinking about different things.
Well, it was good to get the like story along, but it was terrible as a wedding video.
You get the hieroglyphics of these four-armed people and double-headed people, stuff like this. This is something that should have been explored more. It was, like I say, it was already obvious that Jamie was part of this church, leader of the church or whatever. Should have gone further down.
And he's trying to tell her, like, oh, you're really lucky to have found someone, and don't make it harder on yourself. It's easier if you just accept that it's going to happen, and in fact, I'm going to help you along by slicing your arm open.
Yeah, which he does. He gashes her down to here. Meanwhile, Tim in the hole starts hearing weird noises, and also this two-faced thing, which I've got to assume are the other missing people couple from the beginning, comes out at him. But once again, it's a $3.5 million movie, and we've already seen the papier-mâché dogs stitched together for a split second. When this thing came out, it was hugely underwhelming, and also just like didn't go anywhere.
I also felt really sorry because they, this four-armed, two-headed thing was like, help me, well, and he just ditches it.
Yeah, but maybe stop coming towards him. Maybe sit still and go, help us. Once you start coming towards people, it's threatening. Just stay where you are. I said stay where you are. It happens all the time,
Yeah.
Stay where you are.
But also,
I was disappointed by the practical effects of this.
Yeah, no, I can.
It wasn't good.
Accept that.
It just wasn't good.
I wasn't freaked out. I wasn't buying it. None of it. And also, clearly, so we've had on the one hand with Millie, being told just accept it, it'll be easier. And then in this one, clearly something's gone wrong. And I think it's that during the melding transformation, the woman has killed the dude because there was a knife in his side, and he was not living. So maybe like if you kill someone midway through, then you just end up some mishmash.
Like I say, after that though, he then just climbs out easily after his little inspection, and they come back to outside the house, the two of them, Millie and Tim, and they start being pulled towards each other again as they are, and then we're supposed to get some like profound climax to this film. So as they're coming towards each other, he decides to get on his bended knee, and then he proposes with nothing in his hand, starts like talking of his love for her and how lucky he is, and I was like, you're lying, mate. We've seen what she's like throughout this film. And he says, I have to end myself to save you, not realising that she has this slit wrist, which is slowly draining her of her life. So she's about to die on the floor. And then she talks about social media posts, which just takes me out of it again. Little does she know, she's now alive because he's merged himself with her, and they're back in their living room. This is where it loses me again completely, because I've said before on previous videos, you don't want your horror movie to sound like Justin Bieber. You don't want it to sound like One Direction Boy or whatever.
Like the Spice Girls.
Or like the Spice Girls. So we've already had the Spice Girls talk earlier on. Like, he's a music snob, but he bought her Spice on vinyl. Now that they have been merged and he's saved her life by doing it, they start talking about what their first dance would have been. He puts on the vinyl, down it goes, and wouldn't know it, Two Become One, get it? By the Spice Girls starts to play. Don't expect me to take your horror movie seriously when you have a prolonged scene of the Spice Girls playing. How long have I been making the soundtrack for Heathen? And I explained to you why every single song is there, whether it's to do with a particular scene and how it should make you feel, or whatever it might be. And here you just got people going, oh yeah, wouldn't it be cool if we put the Spice Girls in it? It's not cool, it's not funny, it's not ironic, it's just lame. It's completely lame. Again, I was just like, eye rolling again. And for some reason, because this is like a Marvel, it's like a Marvel thing. And all these Marvel tropes are now stuck into every genre of film, but especially horror. Horror is in the toilet. It's on its knees, and this is just a perfect example of why they had some quite good ideas for this film, and they tanked all of it.
Well,
with the Spice Girls, with the 35-year-old white man, with all of that.
It wasn't even those little things that, for me, put
with the
this
joke
further down. For me, it was the fact that it seems to be this one little puddle of water.
Yeah, again, not great.
I'm like, that's just stupid.
Not original. It doesn't take a lot to think about. Also, the whole merging thing it should be. 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 You should be feeling like, oh, what's happening here?
There were just a lot of things that I was like, this is just really stupid.
Yeah, so anyway, two become one. Another cop-out.
We see them...
They start to merge.
Becoming one.
They start to merge. You see his hand in her back and stuff like this. Again, it's too
skin.
CGI heavy to have any real effect. Ruined. So they start to merge. Previously, we've heard that his parents or her parents are coming to visit. Her parents are coming to visit. So now it's Sunday. There's a knock at the door. It's the parents and this new merged couple of Dave Franco and Alison Brie, which I've got to assume, is it supposed to be a trans person? 'Cause that's what I was getting from it.
No, well, when we see this, they, like, open the door. It's like, oh, hey, Mom. And you were like,
is that them?
who? Yeah. No, you weren't even like, is that them? You're like, who is this person now? Yeah. And I was like, Johnny, that's the two of them merged together. But also, this is really stupid. So
it looks like neither of them.
So clearly the teacher guy, I always forget his name, but
Jamie.
The evil one, right? He and his partner merged during their wedding ceremony. Mm-hmm. And now they've merged. But this doesn't even go with the whole Plato thing of two faces, 4 arms, 4 legs. Because they're just human. It's just like, you know, you can get those like apps and stuff where you're like, oh, if we had a baby, and they just take like your two photos and do that. That's what they've done.
Just
I was like, what?
Terrible ending.
And also, are they just expecting that their like her parents are going to be like, oh, cool, so you two are merged now?
Yeah, I don't know. I think, again, it's the writers and directors thinking they're being smart about, oh, people will love it. People will absolutely love it. No, you're just a couple of dipshits. And this is everything that is wrong with Hollywood horror films. And anything to do with, British Film Institution. I have a go at them all the time. They deserve it. Well, nothing to do with them. Heathen is the complete antidote to all of this mess.
Yeah.
That's what I'll leave it with. So let's go on to both our number ones. Thank God, after reliving together there, I didn't think I actually hated it as much as I did. Now I'm really starting to hate it. It's irking me.
I think...
Probably because they tanked their own movie. It could have been half decent.
I think I really, really got totally bored and frustrated with the idiocy of the Jester in Transylvania. This one... was, again, I was like, there are some really stupid choices here.
Try hard
and some bits
stuff.
I don't like. But there were some bits, like at least
like
throughout the film. Throughout the film, there were still enough bits that I was like kind of intrigued to see where it was going. So that's why for me it was a better film. But then this final one is definitely a step above.
Traumnovelle, which is something that we've been hearing about. Well, not us as in the viewers, I'm not sure if many people have heard of this, but if anyone's familiar with the movie Eyes Wide Shut, one of my favourite films, Tom Cruise, Nicole Kidman movie, it's Kubrick's last film, it was based on Traumnovelle. Their version is called Eyes Wide Shut. This one is called Traumnovelle / Dream Story for English-speaking audiences. The whole movie's in English, though. I believe this is a German production, Babelsberg. Studio Babelsberg.
Yeah.
And I just love the story of Eyes Wide Shut / Traumnovelle. And when I was reading up about this about a year and a half ago, it kind of said that this was going to have more horror elements in it with the same story.
Yeah, I mean, if you've seen Eyes Wide Shut, this is basically the same thing. It is.
They've done the same thing. The
exact same things happen.
A few things are added.
Yeah.
A few things are added and changed.
I would also say, I don't know if it's because I went into Eyes Wide Shut with just, nothing to go off beforehand, but I found this one right until, like, the end.
End.
Yeah,
right.
I was following everything a lot more easily. So again, I don't know if that's because this genuinely is just a bit easier to follow, or having seen Eyes Wide Shut, I was
it's the same.
Bit more on board.
Anyway, Traumnovelle Dream Story. The daughter of the couple that we have here, she's reading The Master Ball to her parents, Jacob and Amelia.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jacob, played by Nikolai Kinski.
Yeah.
Yeah, who we mentioned last week. And this is kind of the opening, and we get straight into the club and some German dub. German dub, baby. Jacob's at the bar.
This club scene was not.
No. Jacob's at the bar. He's approached by Domino and Domina. Domino and Demeanor, and Domino's like, hey, want to fuck? And by the way, have you met my girlfriend Domina, who has a vibrator in her pants? And I'll show you. Bzzz. And she starts loving it. Not a bad night for Jacob.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking, where's his wife?
Well, his wife is also being chatted up by a guy. They're dancing together, and she seems like, she'd be very willing to go further with this guy.
Yeah, when he's at the bar and he's introduced to Domino and their vibrating pants, I was like, fine, but there were certain parts, like when he then walks to the dance floor where his wife is dancing with this masked stranger, and I wasn't buying the club scene after that.
Yeah, but also...
It's supposed to be a hardcore club scene. This is Germany,
everyone's
this is
put
Berlin.
some serious effort into their outfits, that's for sure. But what I don't like is in club scenes and stuff, or crowd scenes, when you've got the cameraman moving through the crowd and you've told everyone, right, do your dance here, but then as the camera approaches, obviously we need to let the cameraman through, so just kind of shuffle out of the way. And sometimes it just looks so obvious.
Yeah.
I was on one
Blocked.
film set once where they were doing like a rave scene, and it's the only one ever where they told us, ignore the cameraman, he will literally just shove through.
Past you, yeah.
And that's the only way it looks good.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, once again, there's a club scene in Heathen. When he's walking through, so it's super crowded, no one's moving out the way. I don't care if elbows hitting that lens or whatever. Just don't move out the way. I don't care if you break your elbow on the lens, alright? Making a movie here. So anyway, now after he sees his wife Amelia dancing with the stranger, he walks up to her and says, hey, let's get out of here. Clearly got a bit of a kinky relationship. So they get into their cab and they go home. They shag, obviously, so they're both turned on. Once they're done, Amelia asks Jacob, were you thinking about those two girls, Domina and Domino, when we were doing it? And he says, weirdly, no, actually, I was thinking about the guy you were dancing with. Because he's more of the jealous type. He wasn't thinking about his pleasure. He's more thinking about my wife, my dirty wife, is dancing with this masked stranger. And kind of the conversation carries on going. And he says to his wife then, did you want to with him? Maybe. She says maybe.
Well, she says at the time,
maybe,
yes, now,
but
no.
not now. But not now,
I was like, wow, this is a very honest couple.
Yeah,
I think I'd rather you lie to me if I ever ask you that. Be like, nah.
He mentions that he was aroused by Dom and Dom,
Yeah.
right? And he's asked then, did you want them? He admits that he did want them, which then prompts Amelia to say, if only you knew my dirty side. And of course, he takes the bait. Now, tell me, he says, and she talks about this vacation they had in Denmark where she'd noticed this young man.
A pilot, yeah.
You know, exactly the same thing in Eyes Wide Shut between Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman. We get in between Jacob and Amelia here. And she's fascinated by this younger man. We're getting, at this point, I've noticed that we're getting lots of the same dialogue that was used in Eyes Wide Shut.
I liked the visuals of this one better, though, actually.
Well, it's funny they mentioned that, because the thing that I recognised was when she says, even in that moment, I was closer to you than we've ever been. Now, the thing is, it's hard to compete with Stanley Kubrick, right? There was like such elegance to his shooting of Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman in this same scene. I found this one way less intimate. I think that was kind of worked for it in a way, because obviously Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman were a married couple at the time, so that's why you're getting the intimacy and you're getting what looks to be completely real through the lens. And obviously he's got like a $60 million budget. Kubrick had an open-ended contract where the movie takes as long as the movie takes, whereas this one just had €1 million budget. It did had €1 million. Jester from Transylvania had €2 million. Hard to believe, right?
It
and
is.
So they don't have this luxury here, but I still think it had style. It was a muted Eurotrash style, a sanitized style, but I felt like it worked.
I loved it being in Berlin.
Yeah.
I loved all of that. I liked the European edge to it
You've always got to love the dark side of what Europe gives you compared to America.
It just, I don't know, I feel like it did add something to the story. And like I say, like the apartment and stuff they're in, I just thought everything looked really...
You've got to say,
cool.
right, with the apartment. So you just mentioned. So this will be the first location we'll mention is the apartment. Considering how low the budget was for this, I just got to assume that the filmmakers, the producers, kind of like knew Berlin very well and knew where it was going to be Good, obviously Berlin's another place where you can shoot cheaply, right, on a budget. But it doesn't show that this is only €1 million.
Yeah, but also
budget.
you were saying like, oh, they've managed to make Berlin not look like a dump.
A total dump,
But
yeah.
I would be willing to put all of my money on the fact that all the outdoor shots were in Babelsberg. Babelsberg has like a whole lot of different outdoor bits, and I'm pretty sure I recognised from doing research that was not out on the streets of Berlin.
They definitely filmed in Berlin. Well, it might be both.
Yeah.
So anyway, though, but I'm just saying, even though it was kind of a muted thing, I also think that the performances of the two leads just went well with everything that everywhere they were, apart from the club. We've already said the club. Who do you not like?
In Eyes Wide Shut, I don't like Tom Cruise. Like,
Right.
I find, I don't know, I find him a bit icky.
I think that's purposeful.
Whereas in this one, I way preferred it. I'm like, I thought it was a bit strange because he's not good looking. Which I don't know if he's supposed to be, because obviously Tom Cruise is classically good looking.
Well, he's just a suave, successful doctor, isn't he? It's all neatly put together.
But I just 100 times out of 100, I preferred him in this role.
I thought
than Tom
Nikolai
Cruise.
Kinski was excellent in this.
Yeah.
I really did think he was excellent.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen him in any... I know who he is, and I've heard about him plenty. I wouldn't be surprised, actually, if he is probably just doing German productions and more indie productions. But yeah, I really liked his performance in
Everyone
this.
else, I thought they were brilliant in both films. But just the male leads, I was like, this one gets my vote.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
I actually, as my mind runs, watching movies in general and just seeing people's performances, I'm watching, the Transylvanian Jester, and not at any point in that, obviously, I'm thinking, oh yeah, I could imagine this guy in this role in Heathen. I'm not sure which role, but I could just imagine Nikolai Kinski in a movie like Heathen. He has this something about him, a bit of mysteriousness, a bit of mystery. Yeah, I enjoyed his performance a lot. So something different we get in this is what happens next. So after they've had this conversation, we see an opera scene. And it's not an opera that's actually taking place, because it's Jacob himself on stage singing the opera. And his co-star, who I believe is a bearded man dressed as a woman, first of all, then starts coughing up during mid-performance. Jacob asks him what's wrong, and he gets all the blood spat in his face. And it goes back to just Jacob walking the streets of Berlin/Babelsberg, listening to the opera.
Yeah, he's been called by a family...
Marianne.
That he's doctor for.
Yeah. Dad's passed.
But by the time he gets there, the dad has passed. And it's just the woman, the daughter, who opens up the door for him.
And when Marianne answers the door to him, one of the add-ons that we get in this, we don't get in Eyes Wide Shut, is that Jacob starts telling a story of a young man who was raped by his auntie on his mother's deathbed, and mid-action, the mum comes alive like one last breath.
She doesn't come alive.
She's alive.
It's the death
she
rattle.
knows what they're doing.
It's just, no,
She's letting him know.
He's just saying that deceased persons have that one last exhalation.
But is it because this whole movie, everything, all the themes are to do with dreams, untouched desires, stuff like this. So not everything is as it seems. Even though as a doctor, he sees everything in a straight line, and that's the way that he has to be. So of course, he's just giving the medical explanation. But what's really happening here is the mother is seeing that her sister is having sex with her son, and decides to come alive for one last second to let him know, I know. Yeah. So that was pretty grim. Just hearing it explained, because it's explaining the kind of like, I don't want to say a blasé manner, but a very neutral tone kind of thing. So I really enjoyed that. I enjoy anything which is ultra dark and disgusting, like incest, I guess, in my entertainment. So she then, Marianne admits her love for Jacob, and he rejects her, has to calm her down. Her husband comes home. He decides to leave. As Jacob leaves, he's back on the streets of Babelsberg/Berlin, back in with the opera, and we see another opera scene. This time, he sees himself on stage with his male co-star, who once again, mid-performance, starts coughing up blood
Spluttering.
on his face. The whole thing is quite grim.
Yeah.
Because the thing was, I do feel slightly duped from this article that I read 18 months ago or so, saying that this was going to have horror elements with the Traumnovelle story, because it's not, I wouldn't exactly call it a horror film, but there are elements that are put in which are somewhat horrific.
Yeah, I mean, this is the first bit of confusion for me because I don't really understand what the opera thing has to do with anything. But it's Traumnovelle, dream novel, so of course it doesn't have to make sense, does it?
I just think again, it
was cinematic, wasn't it?
It's his desires. It's all coming to the fore. Like, he just had this conversation with his wife, and because he's looking for something else. I think they probably both are, but more him, because he's more of the straight guy, you know. So all of these desires that he's having are manifesting as what he sees with the blood spitting in his face as something that he absolutely shouldn't be doing. It's supposed to be disgusting, you know, and don't act on it. And that's what kind of like we're told to do almost. Like how ultra honest is everybody in a relationship as one and two about what their darkest desires really are.
Well, I just said to you, I'd rather you lie to me if I was,
there you go, yeah.
Did you want to bang them?
Absolutely.
Be like, no, of course not.
No, but a desire in a relationship, a forbidden desire, doesn't necessarily have to be about cheating. Of course, it can just be about even doing things with your partner, which are just, I guess, just use the word taboo or something like that, you know? And I think that's what's getting to him. I think that's what those opera scenes were about. That's what is showing the inner workings of the man. Yeah, that's what I was getting from it anyway. That's just my take on it. As he's carries on walking through, he goes to this alleyway. All of a sudden, he's accosted by these 4 naughty Germans. But he goes all superhero. He's like, yo, what?
Takes them all down.
He takes all of them on, but it's just a vision, because he thinks once again that he's going to be assaulted. Instead, the 4 just walk by, and as they're walking by, a lady comes walking by.
A lady of the night, turns out.
Indeed, yeah, Mitzi. She gets wolf whistled and all that. And you said that she dropped something, right?
And he catches up to her to give it.
Yeah, as he catches up to her, he does ask, you know, do I know you? Do I know you, kind of thing.
And also, she's like, oh, come with me, Herr Doctor. And he's like, well, how did you know? She's like, oh, just a guess. Because
they have met someone before, even if it is in a dream world, possibly. So Mitzi takes him what turns out to be a brothel. Now, this is a nice decadent brothel. You know, we've got wonderful chandeliers, tones of orange and gold. It's another thing. So you went to the apartment earlier on. When you get to the brothel, it's kind of breathtaking.
Yeah,
to look
and
at.
the room that they go into, it's all so kind of over the
ostentatious,
top
almost,
in a brilliant way. That's what I want in this kind of film.
Absolutely, yeah. And they've hit the nail on the head with that kind of thing, apart from the club scene. And when he goes in there, he's introduced to Lady Mina, you know, and she gives him the lay of the land. There are prices next to the bed. Don't ask for anything that isn't on the list, and kind of thing like this. And so Mitzi then... he notices that Mitzi has this same, I think, it's a tattoo, which he's seen previously on... Domina, that's it. And so Mitzi takes him to the room. 33 minutes in, we get breasts. She's actually quite looking forward to having sex with him, because I guess normally she gets very seedy kind of customers. As she's dancing for him and she gets on top of him, he then has another
inner dialogue,
vision,
doesn't he?
where he's at his doctor's office this time. He's at his doctor's office, and this time a old man patient coughs blood in his face, and it's after this vision that he then stops Mitzi, because he doesn't actually want to cheat on his wife. It's just the desires that are coming to him, and he goes to pay her anyway. And this is the same scene we get. It's not in a brothel in Eyes Wide Shut. It's just the prostitute takes Tom Cruise back to her cramped little apartment, and instead she just listens to him in Eyes Wide Shut, and Tom Cruise goes to pay her. Same thing in this. Jacob's like, thank you for your time, I'll pay you, but she rejects the money and says, no, I will find a way to make ends meet tonight, because she knows for certain that she's going to have a taker somewhere along the line. Yeah. What do you think anything about that?
Yeah, well, she's
a noble hooker. Everyone enjoys a noble hooker.
She's going to go and work that party later, so she knows she's going to make a ton of money there anyway.
Yeah, so we're back through the city. comes to a club, a kind of like jazz club, much like in
Does he recognise from the poster outside that his mate is playing? Is that why he goes in? Right.
Yeah.
And he obviously still just doesn't want to go home. I guess he's still digesting what his wife has said. Oh, actually, briefly, we mentioned with the performances and stuff, and I said I liked all the other performances just as well. There was one performance I did not like in this. The Danish pilot.
Oh, okay.
Whenever, because she was, when she's describing to her husband the looks that he gives her and stuff, and we see him doing it, and I was like, no, I don't like it. No, I did not like it at all. In fact, I thought he was pretty rubbish. But anyway.
Okay. What a hater.
Yeah.
As I said, so he comes to the club, and what has it in German? Nachtingale, he calls him, or so it's a Nick Nightingale. In Eyes Wide Shut. So it's the same character, and he goes in. It's like a kinky burlesque club first going on. There's like a weird show going on, isn't there? Like titty ladies.
Yeah, it is burlesque. And
yeah.
also, I was thinking at this time, I don't think I've said it out loud, but I remember once early on in our relationship, you introduced me to Rammstein, and you spoke a few words in German.
Lucky lady.
And I was like, oh, your accent's a bit crap. And then it turns out that is just the accent from that area, and Leipzig. I've just not been to that part of Germany.
Yeah.
And
so you know nothing.
This lady,
when you did
let me finish. This lady who's singing is clearly from that area, because it was a very, very thick accent.
When you told me that, I don't sound German whatsoever, there was another German girl with us, and I was like, excuse me, German girl, listen to this. And she was like, no, that is completely German accent. I was like, thank you.
Yeah,
thank you so much.
I'm only used to upper class German accent.
Well, I'm used to heavy metal German. All right. So as he gets in here, there's always crazy things going on. He goes to the bar. There's like a dude over like a massive beard. Mm-hmm. He asks, do you want a bitter or lager? I think he asked him for. Of course, goes for the lager. And he reads the newspaper headlines of an OnlyFans model in a heroin overdose just while he's sitting there. Mm-hmm. And I believe that their OnlyFans model was supposed to be
Mitzi.
Yeah.
Or was this saying that this party thing had happened and someone had been killed before?
Well, that's the thing. Possibly that's why I found out to you, because I wasn't entirely sure.
Well, the thing is with this film, it's so Eyes Wide Shut as well. Just from this type of story it's Lynchian, because as David Lynch based it on dreams and stuff, so it doesn't always make sense. And actually, even Mulholland Drive has the opera scene, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So this is very Lynchian. Like, it doesn't all have to make sense. And for once, it didn't bother me. So yeah, it could be either. It could be that there's like a time lapse kind of change thing, and this is Mitzi he's reading about before the event, or it could just be saying that because obviously when he speaks to Nachtigall and finds out that this event has happened a few times, it could just be saying, well, this happens all the time.
What I do respect, though, just from a filmmaker's point of view, is when they have Jacob sit at the bar and take the newspaper. Yeah. Obviously, because they're in a burlesque type club, the lighting is dark and it's kind of red, isn't it, if I remember correctly? And it is just a quick, brief shot of the mini headline, because it's not in the banner headline, it's just a small side one, saying, OnlyFans, da-da-da, and it's kind of like, that's it, it's off, and it's not mentioned again. Yeah. It's just you have to, like, pick up on the things, and not enough movies do that anymore.
They always try and just serve it up to you in the most obvious way, as if we're, like, complete idiots.
Exactly, yeah.
And it's quite disrespectful, and also, it's better this way, because you can watch the film many times.
That's the thing.
And always find something new.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely, and different people take different things from it, which is the way it should be. Shouldn't everything just be straight and narrow? It's all about. So obviously some films that works for, but other ones not so much. So it's Nachtigall that now recognises Jacob at the bar, and they have like their buddy decide to sit down together. Jacob asks Nachtigall, you must be a surgeon now, and he's like, no, actually, I had twins. I had to kind of like drop out of school and just start making money by playing piano and stuff like this. And it turns out he now has 6 kids. He actually has 6 kids, Nachtigall, and his reasoning is, well, she's Catholic, I'm a Jew, we don't believe in contraception, and I'm rubbish at pulling out. Love Nachtigall. What a joker.
Yeah.
After they're introduced, we kind of got to get a backstory on Nachtigall through the visions and storytelling of Jacob, and he mentions that he could have been like one of the greatest pianists of all time, but instead, when he was like playing, he irked the Secretary of Culture, I believe, in Berlin, or just all of Germany.
Irked is a very nice word
by
for what he did.
Being shafted up the pooper by the Secretary of Culture's wife with a strap-on.
He was enjoying his pegging.
That was a massive strap-on.
It was gigantic.
It's huge. Nachtigall is a freak.
So, actually, that begs the question then. We've just found out that, doesn't believe in contraception, got loads of babies. And I was about to say, but 6 actually isn't that many then if you don't use any kind of contraceptives. But if he's taking up the pooper, then that takes the number down, so...
It seems like he got chucked into jail for this for a little, at least overnight. And it turns out that Nachtigall called Jacob to bail him out because he didn't have any money. Now we go back to them in the club. Nachtigall's like, look, I'm sorry that it took me so long, but here's the money that I owe you. Some of the money that I owe you for bailing me out, kind of thing. But at the same time, it's also mentioned that he has another gig tonight. And it's a secret gig, and he's done them before. And every time he goes to his gigs, he's blindfolded, and he doesn't know what's going on most of the time. But one time, the blindfold came down slightly, and he says to Jacob, you wouldn't believe, the beautiful people that are here, the things that are going on. They're all a bunch of sexual freaks. So, of course, this arouses Jacob's interest in this party, which he's not allowed to go to because he doesn't have an invite and this kind of stuff. It tells Nachtigall, keep your money. Just give me this password to this party.
Yeah, so I felt the same about this when we saw Eyes Wide Shut as now, because obviously the same thing happens. But I find the character now, the doctor character, just a bit annoying. And I'm like...
In Traumnovelle?
In both.
Oh, okay.
Because it's for the same reason. Mm-hmm. I'm like, you're clearly
I just thought you were hating on Tom
not
Cruise
supposed
again.
to be going to this party. And, all he's told is you need a mask and cloak to get in. And first of all, how does he think that just any old mask and cloak will do? He doesn't know. And then when he's in there, he's like so freaking obvious that he's not supposed to be there. Everyone else is like at home with the environment. He's just there
This is the crux of the film. This is the intrigue of the film.
It's like, what an idiot.
Yeah, and by the way, the password this time is not Fidelio, which is a far better password than Verde. In my opinion. Yeah, so obviously Nachtigall says to him, well, where are you even going to get a mask and cloak at this time? He's like, just leave that up to me. Nachtigall leaves because he's got to go to the party. Obviously then Jacob then goes to the costume shop. He's treated the guy that owns it before as a doctor. Mm-hmm. So he lets him in. This is the same scene where in Eyes Wide Shut we have Lily Zobayeski, who is a girl who's being pimped out. Instead in this one, we get the owner's son is almost
being spanked by a couple of girls.
By 2 dominatrixes. And I do believe it was... Is it just me, or the son who's being spanked in the costume shop was the Danish guy that Jacob notices at the pool on holiday? They had the same hair, the same pale face.
Oh, I don't think so.
I'm 90% sure it was the same person. Yeah. Which would have been different from Eyes Wide Shut somewhat, and just one small difference. Yeah, it said it's the guy who's being spanked and taken advantage of this time, and yeah, he ends up getting his cloak and his mask from the somewhat seedy owner of this store, and he gets into the car app. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And
there are a lot of made up apps in this.
On the way there, he imagines his wife getting shafted by the Dane guy. Mm-hmm. He's still thinking about that, and yeah, he gets there, gets into the premises, and says Verde, and in he goes.
Yeah.
Into the premises.
Starts walking through.
There's a lot of sadomasochism going on in nice, as I said, like trashy Euros type lighting, giallo style lighting, which I really enjoy. And he's told straight away from one of the inhabitants of the party, time for you to leave. Just kind of ignores that, carries on going. He's like, I will take my chances. And the second girl comes to warm him. I believe it's Mitzi, because she's got the tattoo. And
I mean, he's a bit slow,
yeah,
isn't he? Because he doesn't seem to put it together.
I think he's more...
He's like, who are you?
But it's the second time he's seen someone with this, so he can't just assume, oh, it's one of these. He's got to think, I'm in a secret society now. Probably many people have got this tattoo.
Stupid.
So he's like walking through, kind of gawking. Actually, you can tell he's gawking, even though he's covered by a mask.
We get this, like, singer woman who seems to be... It's like she's a singer, but like maybe the high priestess kind of thing,
And
or
when
I don't know.
when I was talking about reading the article saying that this had horror elements in it,
Mm-hmm.
they used the picture of this woman's face. It looks somewhat Cenobite-ish, especially in the
does.
blue lighting. I was thinking,
Yeah.
oh, what are they doing here? But it wasn't really.
Mm.
Once you actually watched the movie, still liked it.
Yeah, I thought that looked
Stuff like
really
that.
cool.
I did as well. Yeah, yeah. So once he takes Mitzi outside, and she's warning him. A guy then comes and asks her to dance. So obviously not really taking her to dance. She just gets away from Jacob. Another guy comes out and says, "Jacob, what's the password?" And he's like, "Verde." He says, "Well, come with me." And now he's taken into the room where everyone was like dancing, kind of in a sexual manner, where this Cenobite type lady was singing. Everyone's silent. And he's asked for the password again, gives Verde, and she says, no, not the password to get in, but the house password. And of course, as an idiot, he's like, oh, I seem to have forgotten it. It doesn't go well for him.
Well, again, I was like, he's dumb enough just going in there gawping, but then when Mitzi, or, masked woman, is like, get out of here, you're putting us both in danger. I was like, just do what she says, you stupid bugger.
But, the small head rules the big head, doesn't it?
It annoys me in this story. Not this film, because it's just part of the story, isn't it? But his character
It's what
at
makes
this
the
point
film
really
good.
bugs me.
The thing that bugs you what makes the film good. Classic you, that is. Why then? So once it's shown that he doesn't have the second password, and he's really faux pas, he's accosted by another 4 men, he's starting to panic a little bit, but then Mitzi comes out of nowhere on the balcony and says, I will sacrifice myself for him, take me. And the Cenobite lady says, do you understand the consequences of what you're doing? And she says, of course I do. Reveals her breasts so everyone knows what she's doing. And they kind of let Jacob go. They stuff him into a cab and drive him away. But my question is, why do you think Mitzi gives herself, her life for Jacob? Does she love him as well? Is she impressed by him at the brothel?
I mean, maybe she.
Of course, you said before, where do I recognise you? Do I know you before I even went into the brothel? So is there a past?
Yeah, maybe she isn't happy with her whole life.
Mm.
I don't think many people would be very happy with that. And she's, become enamoured of him. Possibly he's treated her, possibly it's purely that one interaction where he's gentlemanly and pays her even though, all of this.
I think it is the one interaction and the possible one before where he says, where do I know you from? And then she takes him to the brothel. I do think it's the kindness that he shows someone who is somewhat looked down, or not someone, but someone who is looked down upon in society. And again, it's just another thing that you're not given any explanations. That's why I just asked you, what do you think it was? And you seem to have drawn possibly the same conclusion as what I have.
But up to this point, I still felt like I was following more like who's who and what's happening in this than in Eyes Wide Shut.
There are more characters in Eyes Wide Shut, and Eyes Wide Shut goes on for a lot longer. There is a much longer film. So now that he's gotten away with this, he's again walking through. He goes to the underground of either Berlin, Babelsberg, which is a great place to shoot again. Choosing a superb place to shoot here. And when he gets back home to his wife, he then she's woken up and she tells him about her dream. And we get this, what I think is a quite incredible animation scene of her recounting her dream.
Yeah, this was bonkers. It was. I don't think any film is ever going to be able to capture what a dream really feels like, because dreams are just, first of all, they're really individual from what I can tell.
Funny if I had very bizarre dreams last night. I've had bizarre dreams for the last 2 nights.
And second of all, I think for everyone, like you get different aspects. Like sometimes in dreams, it's not what you're seeing, you just know or you feel. But that aside, this was a really good attempt at painting what a dream feels like, because it was so like crazy. And also, like, as she's explaining the dream, not only are the visuals really cool, but she's getting a lot of things that... It's like she's been dreaming about what's been happening to him, but in a slightly different way. Like, she calls Mitzi, like, the princess, and the princess offers him this option, and he turns it down, and there's a lot of...
He's in a torture chamber. The torture chamber being his own mind, I've got to assume.
Yeah, I just thought it was really interesting. I was like, oh, okay. So he sat there listening to her explain this dream and realizing like there's a lot of things that she's mentioning
Yeah.
that are connecting.
It's another instance of they're talking about a dream in the movie and then they go to an animation scene and it could go so wrong. And it didn't. You know, they've pretty much hit the nail on the head with it because I'm not sure how much better you could make. And also, I do believe this is done by a real artist. It's not CGI or anything like that. Someone's actually done this. It's pretty impressive. And there's a lot of...
There's a lot of cock.
Yeah, a lot of cock. Bit of vag. A lot of boobs.
It's like a field of penis.
Yeah. It is like a field of penis, yeah. The penis fields.
But towards the end, like, she does that thing kind of like Nicole Kidman. Like, they seem so harsh, this female character.
She is quite harsh, yeah.
Because towards the end, she's like, you know, and I laughed at you as you were about to be killed because you wouldn't be unfaithful to me.
Yeah.
Essentially.
What's that about?
I don't know.
What a shrew. Yeah, I was getting more... I was getting more of the evil nature from Nicole Kidman in Eyes Wide Shut than what I was from
Nicole
Amelia
Kidman's one seemed a lot more like she actually wanted to hurt him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whereas in this one, it seemed like she was just being so honest that it was hurtful, but not that she was intentionally... It's like, take the emotion from it as you will. I'm just telling you the truth.
Yeah, agreed, certainly. He now, after this experience, he now goes looking for Nightingale. And much like an Eyes Wide Shut, he goes to the hotel and he's told by the receptionist that he left with two guys in suits in a pretty bad way.
Yeah, they
like
definitely
he's been beaten
him up.
Then goes back to the costume store, asks the owner about the owner's son, who's now sitting at the bar, kind of like being... Like he's been pimped out now by his own father, the way that Lily Sobieski was in Eyes Wide Shut.
And he goes to try and find Mitzi.
Yeah, he goes to the party house as well.
The whorehouse.
Yeah, and when he gets to the whorehouse, the party house, he's sent a text about the warning. Like, this is your second warning and your final warning. Don't try to uncover what's going on here. I did find it being done in text message a bit underwhelming, especially if you once can compare it to Eyes Wide Shut. When Tom Cruise gets to the gates of the house, there's this like mysterious figure comes towards him and warns him away, tells him in no uncertain terms to get back into the cab, get the hell out of here. Text message is a bit underwhelming for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then he goes kind of like back home and he sees Marianne's fiance and they're about to leave. I'm not entirely sure what the whole Marianne in love with Jacob thing is, and him talking to his husband those couple of times in a very kind of impersonal manner. I found
no idea.
Yeah, wasn't entirely sure what that was about, but...
What all the rest of it was about?
Well, I have theories about the other part. I just don't really have a theory about that, to be honest. And so he's now seen everyone, and he finally goes up to the brothel, and he starts asking the headmistress lady about Mitzi. Yeah, about Mitzi, and he's then told that she no longer works there. She's quite stern with him. She's like, "Look, I've got cameras around here. You shouldn't be here, you need to leave." He's like a marked man in this secret society. And she's not willing to give any information apart from she doesn't work here anymore. So he leaves, ends up at a cafe, and he's served by the guy with the huge beard from the club. And once again, it's like asking, do you recognise, like, do you know Nick? He's like, I don't know anyone called Nick. But he's like, but I do recognise you. Yeah, I'd work at the club, but I don't know anyone called Nick. You know, what was Nick is even his name? Like, who knows? He could be probably given a completely different name in this club to what his actual name is. So he's never heard of Nick. And then he sees Mitzi dead in the papers.
Yeah.
And once again, there's another headline about Mitzi dead now, and it's all a bit too much for him. He goes to the hospital, recognises the secretary.
Well, it's Mitzi, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah.
But it's not Mitzi.
But it's just very strange. And we could get the whole two strange men story again about how they came and took her away and actually she died an hour ago.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Everything is just like falling in on him for this one night just because he wants to kind of act on his desires. And this is the effect that it's having. I was thinking maybe Marianne's fiance knows that Marianne is in love with Jacob, and that's why he's quite impersonal with him. That's the only thing I can think of, and that's why he's moving her away, to get her away from her desires,
yeah, well,
which is Jacob.
It could be that the fiance is basically the same as the doctor, and the doctor is Marianne's Danish pilot kind of thing.
Now you're onto something. So now he's visited all the places that he's been during the night. Finally has to end up at home. Gets into the bedroom where his wife is sleeping, and what's on his pillow? The mask that he was wearing from the night at the party he was chucked out of. That's always quite chilling. That it's like, who the hell has broken into my home?
It's like The Godfather.
Put my mask. Yeah. But I find it's even more chilling than a horse's head, I think.
And he starts crying, doesn't he? Which wakes her
Breaks
up.
down,
and
yeah.
he's like, I'll tell you everything.
And he's
Where's he going to start?
But he's kind of expecting judgment, isn't he? But instead, his wife tells him that he should be grateful because they are awake. They're awake in this dream life. And now they're not just awake physically, but they're awake to everything around them. And the dangers that could come from straying, not just from a relationship, but just from possibly being a stand-up guy. This whole thing's just about desires, isn't it?
I don't know.
Really? I'll say
Don't
it's about
ask
desires.
me, because this film, much like Eyes Wide Shut, much like I'm sure if I read the novel just baffles me.
The film does end there, but then we get an extra scene at the end of the opera, and all of a sudden, all of the characters from the film who are supposedly dead or moving away, like Marianne, Mitzi, everybody, Nachtigall, and the entire family themselves, Jacob, Amelia, and their child, are all at the opera, just clapping along. And that was one of the things I was like, right.
What?
Yeah, I wasn't quite sure about that bit.
Well, this.
This is where you got really confused, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You were already confused, then you got confused.
Yeah, I'm following this. Wait. Hang on, I'm a little bit. Wait. Huh?
So do you have any theory on why they were all at the opera again? And was it just a nice ending for the credits? Like, that show the cast enjoying a show much as you at home have just done. Am I thinking too much into this?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I can say is that right from the very beginning, when their kid is reading the book, the kid keeps saying, when are we going to go to the opera? Oh, we're going to the opera tomorrow, aren't we? And then they're at the opera.
Yeah.
So it just, again, it's one of those, like, continuous little subplots that gets wrapped up.
Did you say that you enjoy this better than Eyes Wide Shut?
Yeah.
That is quite a...
Statement, yeah.
Yeah, and also, I was going to say compliment.
Yes.
That's quite the compliment. So, Florian Frerichs is the director of this one. And of course, we had, like I said, Nikolai Kinski and just a bunch of people who I've never heard of apart from him in it. But yeah, everyone apart from
most of
You
them
Hate
would have
on the
been
Dane.
German, wouldn't they?
Yeah, I think a lot of them are German. Laureen Price doesn't sound like a very German name. But yeah, almost like a German take on Eyes Wide Shut, because maybe they're Austrian, because obviously the novella is Austrian. It's based in Vienna in like the 1920s. So we haven't actually had a faithful readaptation of it based on when it's belongs. So we get 1990s New York, and in this one we get modern day Berlin Babelsberg. And I enjoy both of them. I think it's just because I enjoy the story so much personally, and I like things which are just, wait, what's going on here? What? What? I love it.
That's why you love Lynch.
Yeah, and I'm not sure this film needs to be done again unless it is set in 1920s Vienna. So I'm not sure how much more you can mine from it, to be honest.
Well, already I was a little bit like, I enjoyed this one, don't get me wrong, but also that's just like, Eyes Wide Shut is also great, but it was a bit like, what's the point? Because I've seen this exact thing already.
I was, of course, when we read the article, I was thinking, that's a good thing to do. Insert horror elements into Traumnovelle, but it's not quite what we got in the end, really. And it, like I say, it's more of a thriller, I'd say, than a horror, but still in the wheelhouse. And I think a lot of people that would like horror would probably enjoy the dark nature of this film. But yeah, a lot of it done really, really, really well. Considering this was half the cost of Jester from Transylvania. Quite shocking, really. Yeah. So, ladies' confusion may continue into next week as well.
Great. I hope it's a good confusion.
Yeah.